Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video where I'm gonna show you some ideas on what you can paint with gouache. And we're also gonna have special guests. They're my cats. Yeah, my cats are the special guests today. You wanna say something about that, sir? Yeah, didn't think so. So let's get started. For the first type of painting, you're going to need some tape. I'm using washi tape, which is just a decorative tape, but you can use regular tape. Just make sure that it's not too sticky. Divide your page into sections and then start painting some landscapes. And to be honest, the smaller you can go with this, the better, because that's kind of a warm-up exercise. Are you warm yet? And this is going to help you to really loosen up and then create bigger paintings in the future. So I'm not saying that these are finished masterpieces, they're definitely not, but if you are art blocked and you want to do something and you want it to look cute, then try this, because once you remove the tape, it looks really clean because it has those clean borders, and I think that always adds in a little bit of professionalism. Even though your paintings might not be that sophisticated, they might not have that much detail. And by the way, I already recorded this footage from the first page that we're doing here months ago. I've had this for such a long time, and you might have already seen a peek here and there of this page because it's been there for a while, but I haven't really had a video where it would fit in, and this one was perfect, and I was waiting to do this video, so here we are, and we have finally a place for this footage. If you would like to learn how to paint a gouache landscape from start to finish and much slower than on YouTube, then go ahead and check out my new gouache course that you can get on my website. It is gonna be linked down below. And also, very exciting news, I now have mystery bundles in my shop again. Those are gonna be such a good thing for the holidays, because you can get your own Christmas present, get it for yourself, treat yourself. You're not gonna know what's in there. You just know that there's gonna be a high quality print in there. There's gonna be a lino print that you can only get in these mystery bundles, and also 3 of my stickers, so you never know what you're gonna get. The only prints that are not gonna be in there are the sapphic prints. You can get those in a special sapphic bundle if you'd be interested in that. And just check out all the links in my description box and treat yourself to something, or get something for your friends if they're interested in cute art stickers or prints, or maybe they want to learn how to paint a gouache landscape. Now let's continue with the video. So you can see now that the pieces are getting closer and closer to being finished, and I'm just adding in as many details as I can on this small scale, while also trying not to think about it too much. If you look at a reference picture, you might see things that you will want to leave out. You're gonna want to change things up a little bit so that it can fit your small scale, and then you can kind of translate it into your own thing. And I was using photos as reference here. This would also work if you're trying to do studies of other artists, and never claim that art to be yours, but if you want to practice and learn, I think this is a very good idea. So here we are removing the tape, and you can see that that makes it look so much cleaner. And here's the first finished page spread for this video. Now we're getting ready for the next one, and I was setting up my gouache palette new because it was so messy, and I cleaned it and put some new paints on there, mostly using Winsor & Newton Designer's gouache, and then squeezing everything that I could out of my white Arteza paint. Did you flip your tail in my fresh paint, honey? Now washed it off, and he has a wet tail. Boop. Boop. I hope you enjoyed this little intervention of my cats. They are a handful, and I recommend never letting them near your fresh paint because they will probably step in it, and that's not a good thing. I'm pretty sure that those are non-toxic, but I still made sure to wash it off just to be sure. And now here we are doing another landscape. This time it's a little bit more illustrative and just stylized in a way. And I wanted this gradient pastel sky and then a little bit of a foreground. And then I started to add in details that I later on regret. So I removed those later on. I just wanted it to look more fun, but I didn't like the look of it. So here you can see I covered it up. And then I mixed this beautiful turquoise green color. Turquoise is my favorite color, but I hate that word. It's so hard to say, and I'm sure I pronounce it wrong. And then I just mixed a lot here, going darker and darker with each section, and then started the clouds in between, then mixing again, so much mixing and doing more of the clouds. So going back and forth a little bit with this one and just filling the page. And at this point I was really happy with it, to be honest. At first when I did the little details, I was like, okay, this is not gonna turn out well, what am I gonna do about it? But at this point here I was starting to grow more confident that I could pull this off and make it look pretty. And I mean, it's a more simple landscape in a way because it's so layered, it doesn't have that many details. And then I did this in the sun. And I don't know what my thought pattern was behind that, but I got rid of that as well. And that's the beauty of water-soluble gouache. You just go over it with a wet brush, mix it in, and it's gone. You don't even have to paint over it. You can just blend it into whatever you have going on there, and that's what I did. And here you can see that I did the sun very differently, and I love the way that that looks. I've done that a bunch of times and I really like it, especially since the sun is so big and the focal point of the piece. I wanted it to look interesting, and so I did this brush layer thing. It's almost like a Van Gogh painting, and I really like the way that that looks. And then I did more of the doodle details in the foreground, and I think in the foreground they work so much better. Those are inspired by the pieces that I did last week where I copied the Last Unicorn scenes. So here you can see the finished page spread of this section of the video. So if you're not in the loop, you have to know that Taylor Swift just came out with the re-recordings of Red, and I was celebrating to that, so enjoy these little nuggets. Missing him was dark gray all along, loving him was red. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. Oh, trouble, trouble, trouble. Now we're just gonna wait for the comments to come in from people telling me that I'm abusing this cat, because I've already gotten a comment like that on Instagram. But if you've ever owned a cat, you will know that you can't do anything with it that it doesn't want you to do. And he is a purry little boy, and he lets me do basically anything to him most of the time. So here we are starting to do the sketch of the cat. And initially I wanted to paint the black cat Serotonin, but I didn't have a good picture of him sleeping, so I used this one who is called Finn. Endorphin is the long name. So we mostly ever call them Sero and Finn. We rarely ever call them serotonin or endorphin, but I think the names are fun, and it's always fun to tell people that those are their names. But since I had a good picture of him sleeping, I decided to just paint him. But the reason I wanted to paint him, and the idea behind this, by the way, here I'm lighting a candle, and then when I blew out the match, I also blew out the candle. And so I had to light it again. I don't know what happened there. And I'm using this palette that I set up myself, and I'll talk more about that later. But for now, I wanted to continue talking about my cats until the candle rudely interrupted me with what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I have no idea anymore. I wanted to talk about him. Yeah, what I wanted to say was that the other cat, Sarah, was sleeping on my lap or next to me, and he had a dream, clearly. And this has happened a bunch of times, and it always feels so special when they sleep next to me or on me or close to me. And you can clearly tell that they're dreaming because you can see their ears moving and twitching. You can see their mouth, and they make weird little noises, and their paws move, but they're clearly sleeping. So that's so fun, and I wanted to paint a cat dreaming, and here you can see this turned into action. And for this portion I used a picture of him lying, but lying is not the same as jumping, obviously, but I didn't have a picture of him jumping, so I made do with what I had. But that second leg looked so weird. I don't know, it looks like he has a broken leg or something else. It looks like something else, honestly, but yeah, I removed that later on. I changed the leg. I was not happy with the way that looked, but for now, that's the way it looks. And tried to get as many details in there as I could. And with this painting, I was experimenting with an underpainting that you saw me do in the beginning when I tinted everything yellow. And I really loved the effect that it gave me, because at the bottom, when you see the cat, here you can see that I fixed the leg. You can see that it has this yellow tint, and I think it adds a lot of warmth, and I'm gonna experiment with that more for sure. And now onto the palette that I have here. This is just an empty palette that I got, and then I poured my favorite Arteza gouache colors into it, and I'm using that sort of like a jelly gouache palette. I will add a little bit of water here and there, mix it up again, probably get some mold remover, antibacterial stuff so this doesn't get moldy, and spray that on there a little bit. And I'll just see if I am gonna continue using this, but so far I really like it because you have the fresh paint, but I don't have to use the jelly gouache paints. I don't have to buy them, and I can just continue using the paints that I already have. And if a company decides to send me the jelly gouaches, I would probably try them. But yeah, for now, this works really well. I only used Arteza gouache here, plus the Schminke white tube. And by the way, this is the tiniest butterfly that I did here. I'm honestly impressed that I managed to pull off these super thin lines with gouache nonetheless. That's so hard because gouache tends to be a little bit on the thicker side. So I'm really proud of that and how that worked out. And you can see in this painting, you could see earlier, generally in this video, I was painting over stuff that I didn't like, so I decided to leave all of the mistakes in here, and you can spot them here and there. When I was spilling something and wiping it away, or painting over something that I just didn't like, and I wanted to make sure that you know that this happens, and that's okay. And if you don't like something, especially with gouache, it's very forgiving, and you can just paint over it, or you can really often just wipe it away if it's water-soluble gouache. With acrylic gouache, you're gonna have a hard time wiping something away because it's waterproof, but you can fix your mistakes, and they're normal and they happen. And every time I record a tutorial, I'm always like, oh no, I made a mistake. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna tell people to just not do it? I don't know. But this is just a fun ideas video. And the idea here is to just paint a dream, whether it's your own or your pet's dream. I would love to see some dream paintings and some landscape paintings, so tag me on Instagram at visualmindart so I can see them. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to check out my shop and my new course. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video where we're gonna paint. I need you, you have to be a very good boy. Oof, you're very heavy, honey. Special guests. They're my cats, yeah.